Hey, what's up, my friend? So, in today's episode, I want to share with you 5 things, right, that you should start doing as a trader. Number one, think independently. So, what do I mean by this, right? And it's very simple, right? The way you want to think independently is to ask, why? Why, Rainer? So, for example, let's say, I share with you a trailing stop loss and I say, to trail your stops using the 50-day moving average, right? You don't want to be asking, what is the best moving average settings to trail your stop loss and stuff like that. Instead, you want to ask yourself, right, why did Rainer choose the 50-day moving average? So when you think about that, right, it might be because the market is in a healthy trend and it seems to be respecting the 50-day moving average. That's why he's using it to trail his stop loss. Or maybe he has done some backtesting and find that, the 50-day moving average works best. So when you ask why, right, you will have multiple answers to that question. And when you get multiple answers to that question, right, you can then, use those so-called answers that you have come up with to validate it on your own, right? Maybe you do some your own backtesting, your own research, and see whether it holds true or not. Instead of asking, hey, Rainer, what is the best moving average settings, yada yada. If I tell you, say, 200-day moving average, and you take it at face value, and then your learning process just shut down and it's over, right? So you don't learn anything by asking, what, when, etc. You learn most, right, by asking why. Because when you ask why, you will get answers to your questions, and from then on, those answers, right, can be the basis, right, for further, work or validation down the road for you to explore. And this brings me to my second point: get your hands dirty, right? As a trader, you have to be prepared to get your hands dirty. For example, if you want to be the best chef in the world, you have to be in the kitchen, right? Cooking, right? If you want to be an 100-meter sprinting champion, you got to be out there, right, running. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you got to be there lifting weights. And if you want to be a professional trader, you gotta be there, right? Getting your hands dirty, validating your trading strategies, doing back testing, forward testing, etc. You gotta get your hands dirty, right? You don't see for example, the top bodybuilder in the world, right, asking an opinion of maybe a second-tier bodybuilder, hey, what should I eat? What's my diet and stuff like that? No, they get their hands dirty. They experiment, right, to see what food works best for them. They experiment, right, and push themselves to the limits and see how heavy they can lift their weights. They get their hands dirty, and it's the same for trading. There's no such thing as someone who's going to spoon feed you and tell you what is the best strategy, the best settings that you should do. No, you got to do the work yourself. Research, validate, backtest, forward test. These are the work, right, that will make you progress as a trader, right? Get your hands dirty. If you're looking to, wipe your hands off, just wait for the good stuff to come to you, you'll never make it as a trader. I'm honest. I'm being serious down here. Next one, right? Number 3. Leverage the work of other traders before you, right? This helps you to reduce your learning curve, right? This can be in the form of reading, books, listening to podcasts, blogs, etc. So let me share with you how I leverage the work of other traders. So there are a few traders that I respect and I follow, like, Andreas Kleno, who he wrote Following the Trend, Nick Reg, who wrote Unholy Grails, and a few others. And what I do is that I study their books, right? Their works that they publish out there, right? I read it and they share, trading systems, right, in their books. What I do is I take the concepts of those systems and I go and backtest it and validate it to see whether those concepts work. If it does, great, right? I can then take those concepts, right, and tweak it, right, to a trading strategy that I'm willing to trade. So that's how you leverage the work of other traders. So for example, if you're watching my videos right now and you find that, my price action trading stuff, right, makes sense to you, then take those concepts, right, develop it into your trading plan and validate it to see whether it works for you, right? Don't take what I say or any other traders what they say, right, at face value. You have to do the work. You have to get your hands dirty, as I mentioned previously. Okay, next one, number 4, respect the markets. The markets can do anything, really anything, right? The market can be in an uptrend, a downtrend, a low volatility environment, a range, etc. And if you learn to respect the market, if you believe the markets can do anything, then what you'll do is that you will manage your risk. You will have a plan for exit, right? Like in terms of maybe setting a proper stop loss, or maybe having a way to manage your risk. Because honestly, stop loss isn't the only way to manage your risk. You can use a time-based stop loss. You can use a portfolio rebalancing method. There are numerous ways to manage your risk. Even options, right, which I seldom talk about, that can be used to manage your risk. But whatever the case is, right, you must respect the markets, because only when you respect the markets will you respect risk. If you think that you know what the market is going to do, right, you're confident of your own trading strategy, your entry whatsoever, you don't respect the markets, then that one time, right, when it hits you, hard, right, you lose everything and more. And that's because you don't respect the market. So always respect the markets, respect risk. And this brings me to my final point, number 5. Project the worst and work backwards from it. So what do I mean by this, right? Let me repeat once again, right? Project the worst and work backwards. So what this means is that, let's say you're trading a strategy and you know that historically that strategy, has a 25% drawdown, maximum drawdown, for example. So what you want to do is that when you trade that trading strategy, you want to ask yourself, right, if this trading strategy has a maximum drawdown of, let's say it is worse than 25%, maybe it had a 40% drawdown, right? Because 25% is just the maximum historical drawdown, and in the future that drawdown will get worse, maybe 30%, maybe 40%. And then you ask yourself, what if this trading strategy goes into a 40% drawdown? What will I do? Will I continue trading it? Will I be prepared, right, to lose 40% of my capital? So this is what I mean by, project the worst and work backwards from it. Another example, let's say you put $500,000 with a broker. Then you want to ask yourself, right, if this broker goes belly up and I lose that $500,000 with that broker, can I live with it? Well, if you can't, then clearly, you shouldn't be putting $500,000 down there. Maybe 100,000, maybe 50,000, down to a point, right, where you are comfortable with it. Or one more example, let's say in trading, you put on a trade, right, a stock buy trade, and maybe next week there is an earnings report. There's a possibility it could get 30-40% against you. Then when you put on that trade, you want to ask yourself, right, am I comfortable? Can I swallow, right, that potential 30% gap against me, if the news reports comes out? If you can't, then, bail out of your trade, right, before the earnings release. Or, reduce your position size down to a point where even if it, gaps 30% against you, right, that loss is still contained. So this is what I mean by project the worst and work backwards from it, right? And this is what you must do as a trader, because in trading, right, we are dealing with probabilities, right? We never know what's going to happen ahead of time, but what we can do is to anticipate, right, the worst case scenario. And if that happens, right, what is our so-called contingency plan? Right, this way, nothing will ever, catch us off guard again. Make sense? So as a quick recap, here's what we have discussed today. Number one, think independently, right? Ask why. Number two, get your hands dirty. You have to, validate, the concepts, the strategies that, you come across. Number three, leverage the work of other traders, could be via podcasts, books, blogs, etc. Number four, respect the markets, respect risk. And number five, project the worst and work backwards from it. So with that said, I wish you good luck and good trading. I will talk to you soon.